Okay, so do you remember how last week's episode ended, Sam?
I'm gonna be honest. I think I have the brain of a goldfish because I do not.
Long week this week for you?
No, a short week actually. I think my mind is elsewhere.
Okay, you're just Sam. All right. Well, last week the episode ended, and if you guys don't watch or listen all the way to the end, this is why you should. So I'm pretending to. I don't even know how. When you say this out loud, I was pretending that I couldn't move my wrist.
Oh my god!
Like I was pretending to. I was waving with my right hand, pretending that I couldn't with my left hand.
I forgot.
And I bumped my water bottle, and it spilled. The water spilled all into my Logitech MX Mini Key, whatever the hell, my keyboard. Now,
how's she holding?
I don't know if you remember, the reason I got that keyboard, the Logitech one, is because of another iconic moment on this show where Luke Miani and yourself were discussing iPad Mini. I'm pretty sure you guys shit on it. And my response was to snap my brand new black Magic keyboard in half. The one that came with my Mac Studio, or I bought for my Mac Studio.
That's a good one, for sure.
So I snapped that in half, which made me have to buy a new keyboard, and I bought that Logitech one. And then I spilled water on it, and I am happy to report this week that she's dead. Yeah. She died. She didn't make it.
Applause.
She didn't make it. Unfortunately, she lasted a good 7 months or so. And so the point of this is we've come full circle, and I'm back.
Welcome back, Magic Keyboard.
I'm back. Yay! Magic Keyboard's back, and
it's the best keyboard.
And because I brought this back, I had to bring this back. So now I just have the set back. But that reminded me, or not really reminded me. It taught me a valuable lesson.
What did John Prosser learn last week?
I think I might make a video about this separately. But in usual Genius Bar fashion, I'm going to discuss it here first, ruin the video, and then make the video. I think Apple has ruined my patience for other technology.
Okay.
Like I had the MX Master mouse.
Okay.
The 3S, I think it's called. And I have always had Bluetooth issues with that mouse. Not because of my Mac, I don't think so, but this is the MX Master made for Mac. It's separate than the regular one where you get the little Bluetooth dongle that you plug in USB and then it works that way. I hear that works better. Mine was made for Mac, so it just connected to Bluetooth by itself, and it sucked the whole time. And this keyboard. I opened up the Logitech because I was going to get just a new Logitech keyboard. And I opened up the Logitech app yesterday on my Mac, and I went to do a firmware update because it said I had one. It said, first of all, keyboard and mouse connected. It listed them because of Bluetooth. And it was like, hey, firmware update for both. So I went to update the firmware. And then when I went to update the firmware, a pop-up came up. It's like, hey, we don't detect anything connected. Like, what the front of the front of this app, when I open it, shows my keyboard and mouse, the battery percentage, shows me that it's connected.
Sure.
But when I update the firmware of the mouse, no work. Update the firmware of the keyboard, no work. I understand the keyboard part because I spill water in it. That might be my fault. But the mouse, not so much. And no, I realized that like other tech kind of doesn't work most of the time.
Yeah.
And normal, like, techie, me in high school, I'd troubleshoot it all night and be, like, so engrossed in it. Like, let me fix it. This is so much fun. But I don't give two shits, and my tolerance is, like, at zero. For other technology, like, okay, that's probably a minor issue, and I could probably get it to work within 10 minutes if I just researched it. But I can't be bothered because I'm used to Apple stuff just working. Like, I bought this from the store. I plugged it in with Lightning, and now it just works. I don't have to update firmware.
I don't know if you've heard of my brand. I'm called the Apple Shepherd.
That's your brand.
I like Apple products. I mean, bro, you're preaching to the choir here. I don't know.
But
I don't know what to tell you.
I think that's like the first time I tried to go back to Windows well, I guess it's not a Windows peripheral, but close enough. Like a third-party manufactured thing. After I went to Mac, and I haven't had not an Apple product in so long, and so my first ones were just like Logitech is a great brand, but I'm sorry, you can't not be able to update firmware when I go to look to update firmware.
Yeah, everything's got to be perfect, and Apple's not perfect either. But I feel like their flaws and mistakes are not as bad as
they're not as frustrating. And so I don't know if that's if that's just me getting older, or if Apple has tainted my relationship with other tech products. Like if I just have literally zero tolerance for things not working.
Well, you just said you said you're getting older. Is it true? Are there other rumors that I've heard about John true?
What are the rumors that you've heard about? Have you heard about my third leg?
I've heard the plenty of stories. I think we actually did an in-depth section on last episode about swapping.
Yeah, I'm 30 now. Woo.
Yeah. How does it feel, man? You're 30. Woo! Big 3-0. Let's go. Big J in the house.
No, it feels like bad.
Why does it feel bad?
I don't want to. It just feels like because now I'm done with my 20s. I can never go back there.
Yeah.
And now it's all downhill.
Hey, you know what? It's not all they're cracked up to be.
About 100 years ago, this was like somebody's lifespan, Like this was all they got. And I feel like I haven't done shit.
30. I think it was like 40 or 50.
That's still too close to where I'm at now. Imagine someone being like, hey, you got 10 years left, bud.
Would you, if you had 10 years left, would you quit YouTube? Like, what would you do? If it was like 10 years from now?
Oh, no, I'd go real hard, I think.
So it would motivate you more to do FPT.
Yeah, if someone's like, hey, you got 10 years, the clock is ticking, I would probably go really hard at FPT for 5 years, put out as much content so people have that of me after I'm gone, and then take the last 5 years to just fuck off somewhere.
Yeah, like on a remote island. Have you seen Belize? Dude, let me show you pictures of this place. Like, it's the place where you're like, this doesn't seem real.
It would be my
luck,
at pictures that I go there because the doctor estimated 10 years. So I spend 5 years doing FPT. I spend the next 5 years in Belize or wherever the fuck, but it's not actually 5 years. I got 2 and I die early.
Look at this water.
Oh, damn.
It doesn't even look right. Wait, no, Belize is not what I was thinking of. This is like the off-brand of what I'm trying to show you. It's a place,
look at
fancy
resorts.
Hut on water place.
Fancy? Are you thinking about the Maldives?
Yo, it showed me exactly what I wanted. This is where I want to go.
Oh, that looks really cool. Sorry, audio listeners. It's a fancy water hut. I mean, it looks like vacation in a picture.
Look at this, bro.
I love that word, by the way. Bungalow. 17 best underwater bungalows to visit.
And dude, that could be you and me snorkeling.
It could be, but you play in.
Can we just take all of the money? Probably the money that we have saved in our account would not be enough for even one ticket to go to
God,
wherever
no. But you know what?
This is.
Like I said, I got 5 years left doing this. We can save up a lot in 5 years.
Good, and then you can blow.
Wait, Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, hypothetical. Doctor tells me I have 10 years left.
Okay.
And as your best friend, I call you on the phone, and I say, hey, Sam. Or we don't call each other, we FaceTime. That's what we do.
Yeah,
I FaceTime you. And I say, hey, Sam, doctor says I have 10 years left. I'm going to go really hard for 5 years on Front Page Tech. After that, will you fuck off with me to some island? It's my dying wish.
Yeah.
You have to leave YouTube behind for 5 years, or at least until I kick the bucket. And you can't make me leave early, if you know what I mean. You have to wait it out.
Insurance.
Yeah.
I would do that because that'll give me 5 years to kind of wrap up everything, and I feel like 5 years is like my time frame I'm looking at for not end game, but
what did you just say? Do you have a plan that I'm unaware of?
I mean, I've said that I don't want to do YouTube forever.
But 5 years from now, you're going to be done?
So I'll be 30 in 5 years.
If you tell me that you would quit when you turn 30, and I just turned 30, I'm going to be very upset. I will have been doing it for 15 years at that point. Okay. People,
And by the way,
people used to work at General Motors for 45 goddamn years and then retire. So what is your problem?
I got insulted by a neighbor. I actually really like her. She's great. But she's like, yeah, one day you're going to have to apply for jobs and stuff. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, like, you won't be able to do the YouTube thing forever. And I was like, what?
Why?
And she was like, yeah, like
too old?
Influencers, like they're there for like, just a short amount of time. And then, it goes to the next. And it got me thinking about that.
Well, not the good ones. The good ones are still around.
Yes, but I guess on average it is a shorter shelf life. But it got me thinking that it is kind of wild that, we've been, and I feel like tech might be an exception to the rule because we've been doing this for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I feel I feel better about it than I ever have. Like, it's not like I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm like, oh God, I don't know how much longer I can do this. It's like, and people seem to care still this far in. So it got me thinking that in tech, I feel like there might be a longer shelf life on average because I just think about a lot of the creators that I watch and
I think it's just all about adapting. I think the ones that aren't around just failed to adapt is all.
Yeah. Or they failed to maintain relevancy because, they just kind of gave up or got set in their ways and weren't open-minded enough. And that's something that I always try. Should we start talking about the situation that we've been avoiding?
I don't think I've been avoiding it per se.
We started off with some small talk. There's been some drama recently.
Sam has involved himself in some drama. Imagine that.
I wouldn't say I involved myself. I would say I defended myself after being attacked.
You defended your honor, is what happened.
Yeah, like I didn't start anything.
Okay, that's fair.
Unless you could consider last week, but that was sort of in response in general. So, yeah, basically, our favorite little leaker, Unknowns, who I've coined the term the friendliest leaker on the internet.
Is this true? The friendliest? Is there have you done the math?
Listen, let me just start where this saga began. Yesterday, I shared something really that I thought was really cool. I saw it on Twitter. Majin Buu had posted it. It's color matched cables for the iPhone 15, which is something we've never really seen before, which I think looks really cool. Like you could have black for the black iPhone, and they're braided as well. Pink seemingly confirms the pink color. This looks really exciting. I think that was cool. So,
hey, by the way, this is my first time seeing that. Thanks, Apple Track.
Oh, no way. Yeah, they look really, really dope. I saw that somebody else had posted it. It was Majin Buu. So, as always, I tagged them. I was like...
And if he posted it, that means what? That it's probably from...
I'm not sure.
Weibo?
Yeah, he said he found it online somewhere.
Yeah, he's usually... If I'm not mistaken, he hasn't leaked anything himself, really. He just kind of grabs it from... Yeah, because there's a huge disconnect. Like, a lot of these leaks, and more than we ever see, come out from China, like on social networks, and some are like, from tiny accounts that you'll never see, and then you have some Twitter accounts like this guy who sort of acts as a middleman that will take... there's a couple of accounts like that on Twitter that are sort of well known where this is exactly all they do. They look on Chinese social networks, they see leaks, they post them on Twitter in English. That's what they do.
Yeah. So anyway, I reposted this as always, credited person as always.
Yep.
And then I went on with my day because I was getting on a plane home. And then out of nowhere, I see the boy go, Apple Track calling something sketchy. Bro, all you do is steal people's tweets for engagement.
Oh, God.
And I was like,
also,
whoa.
For audio listeners and everyone else, this is a Unknowns21. We talked about him last week, right? Or was it the week before? We talked about him last week, just unprompted, sort of. He is a leak account. Like an actual leak account. He's not taking stuff from Chinese social networks. Like, he leaks the information himself. He's been around. I'd say he's newer. He's been around just like this year, really. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. But he's kind of
so. Yeah, like he hasn't been the friendliest to a number of people. So when I see this, I'm just like, I don't know. There's been a big talk in the world about like with XQC and others like stealing content, and first of all, just to be clear, I find that unethical. Like I don't believe in stealing content.
It's funny you mentioned XQC because I just found out that he was a thing like this week.
Yeah, he's a pretty bad offender. But I always, and I'm not saying I have done it perfect every single time, 100%. I'm sure you could find a post on Apple Track where I didn't credit the person on accident. Like it's never been done intentionally to where I'm like, I want to steal all the credit for this content.
Yeah.
Because I guess people forget, like, I am a content creator. Like, I don't just run this news site and that's my fault. Like, I make content. People steal my content all the time. It's something that I actively deal with. It's not as if this is my job. That's how I make money. So it's something that's very important to me, and you can believe me in what I say or not, but that's actually how I feel. So
I believe you.
I see this and I'm like, okay. So I was like, I take this really seriously. Could you explain how this is theft? And I got some insightful responses, like Aaron, who I've covered before. He has some good info. He says, I wouldn't call it theft. It would be nice if you quote retweeted so the source can get some ad revenue. And that was really interesting because it's already showing the way that X and the way the monetization works is reshaping the media landscape.
It's ruined. Never give regular people ad revenue. It ruins everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Power to the people, though. Power to the people. Blue check for everybody.
Blaze your glory, am I right?
So cringe. So basically, I'm like, okay, that is an option. That would probably be the best for the source, but it would also limit the reach of my account. Not as many people would see the message, and it would fundamentally change the way that news has been shared on Twitter for the past 2 decades. Like that's not how media coverage works, right? 9 to 5 Mac doesn't post an article that has the exact words of a tweet in it. They add additional context or thought or insight.
Or not even just a tweet. Like the same could be said for articles and stuff. Like why are they saying like why isn't he replying to 9 to 5 Mac and saying, "Hey, why did you write this article? Why didn't you just post a link to my tweet?" It's just like he'll do the same thing like, "Hey, I was mentioned on Forbes." Forbes is doing the same thing Apple Track is doing. Like what? It's not
I would argue they're actually doing it not as ethically because they're kind of making things up.
I can agree to an extent.
Anyway, that's a story for another day. So basically, he goes, all you do is switch up a few words, makes fun of me using emojis, and calls it a new thing. Might not be theft, but it's pretty close. So already he's backtracked in the follow-up.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, that's a big like to say that like that. This is not like a fun little job that I do. This isn't like a little game for me. Like this is my living, this is my career, and I take it seriously. And people might not believe me because I'm a YouTuber that's money hungry and greedy. Whatever. Like put whatever adjectives you want in there. But I actually do care a lot, and I know that people that know me know that, and it's easy. From the outside.
I will definitely back you up there.
So he then compares my tweet covering one of his leaks to a few months ago, where I literally overtly credit him in the first 2 lines. And I share some of what he said, adding the context that it looks like a major upgrade. He does like just to illustrate journalism so people understand. His original post shared only the hardcore specs that some people won't understand, like LPDDR and TSMC 3 nanometer and LPDDR5 DRAM, microns. Like no one outside of a specific niche community knows what that means. So to share it to more people, I contextualize it and say, basically, all of this means it's going to be the major upgrade over A16. Thus, we haven't seen that in years. Like the example that he points out is actually, it almost proves why I'm not retweeting or quote tweeting because it will just add confusion to the process. And people will be like, what is this? And I'm not doing a full article because this is a social network. Like, I feel like I'm hitting this middle ground that has attributed to a lot of my success for sharing content, but I also have credited who it is from right at the top.
If anything, you're giving them more exposure than they would normally get. I don't understand.
And of course, that's up to them how they optimally want their content to be shared. But like for me, this would be amazing if The Verge in a tweet said via @iUpdate or via @AppleTrack.
Yeah,
I'd be like, that is amazing. Thank you for sharing
dude,
that.
This this isn't exclusive to the tech demographic either. Like, think of accounts like WorldStar, and like they are quite literally just taking videos from somebody else and posting it, and they're just curating it. That's why an account like WorldStar is so popular. It's the curation. It's not the actual content itself.
Here's a great example. Dextero. Like they just post content like this.
Yeah.
You see how they're not linking, but they're also crediting the source.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's done well.
I don't know if you saw this, but because for the most part, I don't want to be part of this drama, but I did have an issue with one of his tweets.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw it, but in response, vaguely, to you explaining why you share the information the way that you do, he tweeted not to you, but just as a tweet or an X, whatever the fuck, and said it is something like it has come. Did you pull it up? Will you open up his in a different tab after this?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
go ahead and read your response.
Yeah, let me finish this. So I mean, I'll just summarize. Basically, I said, it's easy to throw around terms like content theft because you are an anonymous profile. Like he doesn't use his real name. He does, or a pseudonym of like any. He's known unknowns 21. That's what his name is. And he has a picture of a cat. Like I have my face and my name. There's some real world accountability there. So like that's why I don't go around saying things to him like he's burning sources or he's being unethical, because I don't know those things, and I'm not just going to say that.
Yeah.
Because that's not fair to him. And for him to not just reply but to do a public post about my character, I really didn't appreciate, because he calls me a content thief, and then literally in the follow-up he's like, okay, well, it's not exactly you being a content thief, but it's close. So then it's like, okay, if it's close, of course there's a conversation in gray room there, but when you're just calling me a content thief and telling the world that with really no evidence, and the evidence that you do share shows that I literally overtly credit you, I don't appreciate that, because people are going to see that and they're going to change their opinion of me because of what they've saw that's not accurate.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm like, yeah, I haven't been 100% perfect every time, but I stand by the fact that it's fair use, that I am crediting, and that I frequently think about how people get credit. For example, Mark Gurman has talked to me that he wants me to share his articles at the bottom of my posts. And that's not something I do for anyone. And I know that will drive more revenue and traffic to his site. And I know that my platform has a decent amount of reach here. And I would have to start doing that for everyone. And then that changes the way my content works, and it's a one-man show. Like there's all of these considerations that I make that I feel like rather than just asking, people don't actually know about. And they think that I'm just, I guess people think I'm making a lot of money. I've made $100 from X on Apple Track.
Damn, bro, you rich.
And that's the first money I've ever made. I mean, I guess I've done a sponsored tweet or two maybe on Apple Track, but that's like my own content, so it's not making profit off of others. Listen, there's a conversation to be had about, is the photo tagging on my account enough credit? Should I be doing the overt tagging every single time? Should I be linking below in tweets to additional context for information? Those are things that I think about. Like, just because I haven't changed something or done something right now, it doesn't mean that I don't think about it and I'm not always considering it in some way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope people know that I take it seriously. I hope people don't view me as a content thief. And if I am, then I obviously need to change something, because that's not okay. But that's just kind of my thoughts.
Want my opinion?
Yeah.
I don't think you're a content thief.
Okay. Well, shocker. Sam's best friend defends him.
I know. Where's Reddit? Remember when you were defending me during like all my Apple Leak stuff, and Reddit's just like, oh, they're just because they're best friends, or John's paying him. Now it's reversed.
Dude, I forgot. I love how those allegations just went away. Remember when I almost said win a gay? I can't say that. Dude, like, I remember people were saying that you paid me to boost your score on Apple Track.
Yeah. Good thing Apple Track, like, the website went away when all my leaks started to tank.
Yeah, and clearly you weren't paying me enough.
I know. Okay, so couple things to say.
Okay.
First, I want to pull up the tweet that I have an issue with, and then I will
Okay.
get into the meat of how I actually feel.
Is it a reply or a main?
It
tweet?
is just a regular tweet.
Okay.
Go up. First of all, that's just cringe. This tweet is just cringe.
I think it might be below.
Okay, hang on, go back up.
Okay.
This tweet that I said is cringe says, if you're surprised that I mean sometimes, remember I released an actual image of the iPhone 15 Pro just to make a complete mockery out of something else. So like there was some like, I don't know if it was a CAD leak or just like words someone said.
It was Ian's renders specifically.
Yeah, Ian put out renders, and so he put out a single image of just the ass of an iPhone and was like, haha, gotcha. But I mean, it's just like a portion of the iPhone. But anyway, that's cringe. I would like to go to a different tweet now.
Okay,
I'm
really trying to find this.
It's right there.
Here's an example. Oh, this one or below?
Below.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so
I didn't even cover
after
this.
Sam like sort of says, hey, like this is, and I think other people defended you as well, like there's a huge difference between how Apple Track presented the information that you tweeted and how you presented it. The way Unknowns tweeted it was like, you read it. It's just specs, a bunch of numbers and letters that don't make any sense to regular people. And his response to that is, guess I need to dumb this down for a bit for people or my followers, because some people think my followers are too stupid to understand basic specs. And the way he worded that and said that just enraged me. Yeah. Which I'm pretty chill. Like people like he was, like the way he was talking to you and tweeting to you, I was like, okay, whatever. But pretending that people that don't understand what DZ105 or whatever the fuck means and calling them stupid is just wildly misguided. Yeah. We are the stupid ones. If we are the ones that know this information, we are the weird ones. The ones that know how to read those specs, you're the weird ones. Just because people don't understand them doesn't mean they're stupid. That's not it at all. They just don't care to learn what that means because it means nothing to them. Them buying when they buy an iPhone, they buy iPhone 15. They don't buy the code name. They don't buy the RAM. They don't need to know any of that stuff. It's not a matter of them being stupid. They just quite literally don't need to know it. And you think a fucking surgeon is stupid because he doesn't know the iPhone 15 specs? No, it doesn't need to be in his life. Why fill it? Why put that information in your life if you don't fucking need it? We're the weird ones, not.
And it ignores that there is a learning curve to this. And like, I think I even said it in my tweet to him. Like, my mission for Apple Track is just to reach as many humans and talk about Apple products as possible. Yeah. And to reach as many humans as possible, you're not going to be using code names and other like numbers that people don't understand. And I find the irony in this tweet hilarious because it actually is much easier to read.
Yeah.
Like, just saying the manufacturing process, the performance cores, and the rant, like,
look at that. That looks insane, dude. His initial tweet looks insane.
Like,
to
it literally
else.
is like a Google Translate of the stuff. And I get where he's coming from because when you're in it, this is just second nature, and that's really cool. And I guess you're very smart and talented. But again, my problem with him, and I'll just say we've talked a bit in the DMs, and I've just told him how I feel about the way he treats people.
I won't ask you what he said or what you said, but can I ask you a vague question?
Sure.
Is it a bit? Is it an act that he is just portraying this person, or is he actually this person?
He says everything is he's using the John Prosser. I see a lot of parallels between you and him early on.
I mean, that's happened a lot with a lot of accounts, yeah.
Yeah.
Just replicate how I did it.
I just see everything's a joke. And if you're upset by something, it's just a joke. Why would you be upset? It's just a joke. That's just my sense of humor. And
yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
He called you a content thief, and then by the end of the thread was like, hey, man, just live a little.
yeah. It was like, I'm boring.
Come on, dude.
That just doesn't hold up. And I get comedy subjective. I'm not saying I'm the comedy police, but like rubbing things in people's I basically just told him, I was like, hey, it was a message similar to you. I was like, I don't like the way you talk to people in the community. Not that I'm like the guard or the guy who makes the rules, but I was like, I don't like it. And I was like, I've heard from a lot of the people that I'm friends with that they don't like the way you talk either, because you're mean and rude and you're arrogant about what you share. And I think there's a way to do what you do much more powerfully by being friendly to everyone. And yes, you can make jokes about things, right? Everybody's allowed to make jokes. But the difference is when you get to say, I made a joke and I know it's a joke, so nobody else is allowed to be upset or offended. And that's just not how comedy works. Comedy is subjective. You don't get to say that's funny and then everyone else has to laugh. You get to say something and people decide if they're going to laugh or not.
Yeah.
And it's just like a disconnect. And I will say he has been more receptive than I would have ever imagined in our couple of messages. And again, I don't want to share anything because that's private, out of respect. But yeah, I gotta be honest, and like it was weird to navigate this as I was like getting on and off planes yesterday, flying home.
I mean, props to you for wanting to open up a conversation.
But yeah, like that's always my perspective with anything, whether it's Mark Gurman putting the link under every Apple Track tweet. And like, I guess I wanted to really talk about this because I feel like I've come under heat more so than others. And I'm not, I don't want to use the excuse of other people do it, so it's okay.
I mean,
but I'm just
to be
saying,
fair, in the tech space, I don't know the words to properly describe it, but there is a way of tweeting that you created, basically, in this space. Like if we're just saying it how it is. A lot of tech accounts are replicating what you do. Even some of the big, quote unquote, mainstream tech sites are doing exactly what Apple Track does now. And
it works. That's why.
I think there's a huge frustration, and I get it with these accounts. But the fact that they're frustrated really just tells me that they don't understand organic social network growth. Yeah. Like they just don't understand social networks at all, especially as a business, because he's like, I have the information. You know, he probably looks at Apple Track. How come this is so popular when I'm the one with the information? But that you have all the data. The reason that you can see it in the numbers. The proof of, if you want to say it this way, dumb it down for your stupid followers. The proof of concept that works better than how you do it is right in Apple Track's numbers. Like it doesn't. The people that are upset, and this isn't just him. This is especially since Twitter opened up monetization and stuff. People are really upset that they're not being directly retweeted. But it really teaches you that having the information is not enough. The information will never be enough. Like
it's half of it.
Yeah, when I was leaking Apple stuff heavy, I wasn't just posting information. I made it a point to put on a show, and that is what facilitated the actual growth, not the information that I had. There's a bunch of people with the information, and that's why like I like this guy. I want him to be around because we have lost a lot of leakers, the last few years. Yeah. And I've reached out to him. I've DM'd him before for information on Front Page Tech, and I want him to be around. But unfortunately, he is just going to push away whatever community he could possibly build because he just looks like an overt asshole. Like he's just, it's not even just replying to people. No one bothered him. Nothing. Unprompted, he'll just tweet something mean, like the Apple Track thing. Yeah. Apple Track calling something sketchy. Like, why even? Well, because when you don't have the information, because like I always say, today it's you, tomorrow it's going to be somebody else. When you don't have the information, because you were just a fucking dick the whole time, no one's going to. You're worthless when you don't have the information because you're not like a decent human, and it's not funny. You don't look cool. It's cringe, and I just hope that he. I hope he fixes it before, he loses any sort of possible future in social media because of it. Yeah.
And, like, here's the thing. Like, yesterday he just went on this rant of, like, one tweet about Apple Track. Then he's making fun of how I post, which, by the way I post is not original. I I found this formula on social media from other accounts.
Yeah.
Actually, fun. I'll save that story for another day.
Oh, God.
But there's actually a key moment that I started tweeting the way I did, and there is a specific reason that I did so. Basically, somebody was not the friendliest to me. So then I was like, all right, fine. I'm just going to use your formula.
No.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. So anyway, he goes on this whole rant talking about everything. Very egotistic trip day, I guess. And the thing is...
Own everyone with a fucking JPEG, he said. Oh, God. Come on, dude.
This is another tweet about just like, haha, look, the way Apple and Sam does stuff. I can take this, man. I've been... Maybe he thought it would like really bother me and it would like mess up my day. It got me thinking about it. I'll give you that. Like, you definitely made me like think about it and got me to like question the way that I share things, because I always want to be more receptive than rejecting of like new ideas. But I'm used to this. Like, I don't know if you've seen the TikTok comments. I don't know if you've seen John and I have been doing this thing for 10 years. Like, a personal attack on the way we do stuff is not a new concept. We've been doing this for so long. But my problem is when he goes after other people in the community that aren't used to that. Or he specifically called out like Ross Young. He's like, think about it. Ross Young only gets display sizes. And I'm like, why are you shitting on Ross Young, who's like objectively the most accurate leaker we've ever done?
Right now, he's got really good information, a really good source or two, and he just feels on top of the world. And I wish I could just like take my. I wish I could give you further context around the information you have, just so you know you are not that special. I'm sorry, but none of it. It's just iPhone rumors, dude. No one gives a fuck. And today it's you. Tomorrow it's going to be somebody else. And that's it. That's just the name of the game. So you got to learn to like take some of this with you, because I knew that, and who knows? I'm probably going to leak Apple stuff again. I'm probably going to leak Google stuff. I'm probably going to leak stuff in the future, but it's not like my career died when I stopped leaking stuff. I took all of that growth with me. I kept all of it because I made actual content. The entertainment was my biggest priority over the information. And that's what separates a lot of these accounts, people that have information versus the people that understand growth in social media. Like, this is what we do. And there's like an art to growing an audience like this. And there's a reason we've been around for 10 goddamn years. The information is just not enough, and I hope that you learn that before you do too much damage to your own account. Yeah. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, because he could just delete it and name him Definitely Knowns 22 and just have a new account and start over. Because there's no, like you said, there's no accountability, and he's anonymous.
So those are my thoughts on the situation. I don't have any bad blood. I just, at the end of the day, keep attacking me. You keep saying that I dumb stuff down. You can keep making false accusations. I can't stop you. After all, X is the platform for free speech, man. Like that's where I go to just say whatever's on my mind. I see how you have grown over the years, and I hope that he can, maybe he's just young. We've all been young. We know nothing about this person. So
he seems smart. Like, the way he talks, he's pretty like fluent. And so it makes me wonder, like, initially I was just excusing how he was acting as just he's probably a little boy. But the way he talks, he seems pretty smart. And so that's almost more disappointing, because that means he's probably not a little boy and he's still acting like this. Yeah, and those are my thoughts. You're not the first leaker that had a problem with how Sam and I do things, that spouted accusations and that no one cares about it anymore. Yeah. So, again, we've been doing this for a long time. There's a reason we've been around for a while. So
no, but I don't want it to come
or not.
Yeah, I don't want to come across as like arrogant or like tuning our own horn. Like, we obviously have
I don't feel like we are arrogant at all. Well. I'm coming from a place of like I was in his spot, and so I'm trying to help a brother out.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I just, I'm always trying to be introspective, and I'm always trying to learn. Like, that's the point at the end of the day. Is like, if you're going to make accusations about me, because, well, I guess there's no better segue other than to the Linus situation.
I'm going to be honest.
We can't
you caught me off guard there because I did not plan on talking about this at all. But
dude,
here we are.
It's like one of the biggest channels in the space. We can't not.
Yeah, so like on Front Page Tech, I referenced it obviously.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
I tried not to like. Everyone is sort of using the situation for views and to talk about the drama right now, and I'm not opposed to using it for views at all because we use everything for views. But yeah, I didn't really plan on. I mean, well, I'll dance around it, but yeah, I didn't really, especially on Front Page Tech. That's what, if anyone was wondering, that's why I didn't like actually go out of my way to cover it, just because I don't want to use the actual. I want to use his name and the situation for views, but I don't want to actually. I didn't want to discuss the drama on Front Page Tech just because it feels like this is a weird thing where I feel like I don't have all the information.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not jumping to conclusions, but discussing what's been said, I think, is fair. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. I don't want to force you to.
Oh no, I will. The Madison stuff, I'm not sure about because there's an external investigation happening there, and no, by the way, not to say that I don't believe her, because that would be a huge problem too. I just don't. The only information I have from her is that that series of tweets about the misconduct and the harassment and stuff like that, and that's kind of all the information we have there. And for some reason, I just feel like it's not enough for me to speak on that yet. But the other stuff, like the inaccuracies and the Built Labs stuff, obviously not ideal, not great. I think my biggest disappointment is actually how they handled and responded to everything. I think that was where they missed. Well, Linus specifically.
Yeah. So just to catch everybody up, long story short, at the LTX, which is the Linus Tech Tips Expo they held in Canada, a bunch of tech creators are on a private tour of the LTT office. I've heard firsthand from people who were on that tour that people were saying things about this channel, Gamers Nexus. They don't do things as well. They were throwing shade.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere. People might not know that that's where
they were
this
throwing
started.
shade at Steve at LTX.
Yeah, they were throwing shade at Gamers Nexus people on a private tour with other creators, and I've heard this firsthand from people who were there, and it was just kind of out of the place. It was small comments, but obviously creators are friends with everybody. Creators talk to everybody, and somebody's like, "Hey, man, Linus had a lot to say." So Gamers Nexus uploads this whole video. They're a pretty big YouTube channel, obviously a competitor.
So did they know that this video was coming?
I'm not. No, I don't think. I don't think that they. I think one of Linus's complaints is that Gamers Nexus on this hit piece did not reach out to Linus beforehand.
I don't think you have to do that, but
yeah. So video comes out. Yeah, Gamers Nexus highlights what? He sort of highlights some surface stuff, like inaccuracies in videos and
like wild inaccuracies, though. Like inaccuracies that like the only possible way to have them is like gross human error.
Yeah. But then, so like that was like the first wave. And then all of a sudden these other stories start coming out.
Floodgates, bro.
From two, I think, is it one or two women? One woman.
I only know of Madison.
Okay. I believe, and I'm just showing this article from Forbes, there are some sexual harassment allegations with LTT in the work environment. I've seen a thread from someone as well.
And by the way, I'm definitely not going to say any names, but I have heard sort of privately who has some issues in terms of like who the sexual harassment might be coming from at LTT. And just in case it helps make people feel any better, it's not Linus. So that's cool.
Yeah, let me just show her thread. this is this is the person I was thinking about. I saw this thread as well. I mean, it said some really awful things, like the career drove her to wanting to harm herself because she was so stressed out. Nobody listened. Very overt, just woman in a man's world treatment to her. Like, they would tell her, I mean, just like classic tropes. Like, they'd be like, you don't speak up enough. You know, tell us how you feel. And then as soon as she speaks up, it's like, whoa, you're being really bitchy and assertive today. Can you calm down? Like, why are you getting so worked? You know, just classic.
Calm your tits is an actual statement
literally
that was,
So it's just like, you know, and that's really, really disappointing that it's like the man's world where it's like, that's fucked up. Obvious. I should go without saying that I don't think that's right. And you know, I'm not going to white knight out of here, but obviously that's a problem. And that's something that should not be tolerated in any workplace. You should be able to say whatever you want and not face repercussions because of a thing you can't control, like your sexuality, gender, whatever. So this was where things started to heat up. And, you know, I don't know Linus personally. I've never talked to the man, so I do not know him on that level. But I will say that his responses initially seemed pretty arrogant. They seemed pretty off base, and it seemed kind of like, just forget about them. We're fine. We do a great job.
Linus is very emotional, and I would say that I would agree that it came off a bit arrogant, but I don't think it was coming from a place of arrogance. I think he was just really defensive and emotional. Because the whole thing's scary, to be honest. Like on a scale from 1 to 10, because everything happens so fast. The Gamers Nexus video comes out, and I'd say things are about a 6 or a 7. Like they're already pretty not great. First of all, Steve's video was like 40 minutes, and it was heavy with receipts, which is another reason why I believe he didn't need ethically to reach out to Linus. Like he had so much that there's nothing Linus can say that makes the facts from that video any less important. And then Linus responds in the LTT forums, and it's purely emotional, and like Sam said, comes off as arrogant. It's just a really, really bad response. And he didn't even wait 3 hours before he typed his whole thing on the forums, and initially that was all he was going to put out, and they weren't going to discuss it further. But then that response made it worse. So now it's like an 8, and so they make a response video that goes out at like 6 in the morning. I was still awake. I'm pretty sure. I watched it go out, but the response video came out like an hour after. It was clearly like it had already been done and scheduled, and they were sleeping. But like an hour prior to that, Madison tweeted her thread. So by the time this response video comes out with the whole LTT staff, Madison's thread is already floating around out there, and it's much worse. So by the time this response video comes out, things are at a 10. Like, it's bad now. And they took a week off of production. Well, this response video, they claim they're taking a week off production, but that was before it got even worse. They canceled the WAN show this week. And Linus puts out 25 videos a week, roughly. So for them to pause production and not put out 25 videos, that's insane. That the amount of moving around you know what happens. Like, if we can't. I don't think we've missed a week of Genius Bar. If we have, maybe it's been one. But to try to cancel an episode or move one of our ads is like a whole process. I can't imagine rescheduling ads and the production for 25 other videos.
No, it's insane. I mean, it's the reason they're a multi-million-dollar business, and obviously very lucrative. And, you know, one of the things that I think made the situation, even worse by Linus's response is he was like, it's not worth $500 to $800 of my employees' time to redo something. And like, that quote has stuck with me because I think it really shows you the lens at which he was operating the business through, which was, we need to make as much money as possible. Oh yeah. This is not about accuracy or fun or facts. This is about how to optimize for the greatest revenue growth.
I heard someone refer to what Linus was doing as a review farm, and that really hit. Because it's like, yikes, that's when you say it that way.
And I mean, their audience has definitely not been happy with this, which I'm surprised because a lot of communities usually ride for the creator and they're like, whatever, this is all dumb. But yeah, I mean, basically this review, Linus pops up with his LTX hoodie and
they make a few sponsor jokes in there too, which didn't sit well with people. They joked about like sponsors and ads. I think they plugged LTT Store. I think Nick plugged LTT Store. They put out
some updates
with a pinned comment.
So yeah, they had monetization on at first.
Oh, did they really?
Which, okay, I guess for this situation you don't. You know what? Actually,
I'm fine with that because it's their drama to begin with. Like, they can monetize that. I think that it's only icky if you monetize, like, a death of somebody else or something.
Yeah, my opinion, and a lot of people might get mad, which is fair, because as a creator, I guess there's some greed or something involved. But I'm like, yeah, I want to be able to monetize my own controversy. And now, if there's, like, if they were covering the sexual assault allegations or something, I think that's different. But when it's just covering inaccuracies and stuff.
Everyone, you need to think about what I just said, like, 2 minutes ago. You're mad that they monetized their response video. And by being mad at that, you're also just willfully ignoring the fact that they stopped production for a week. What does this video have? How many views?
This video has 4.5 mil.
So what, 10, 15 grand maybe in YouTube ad revenue?
Yeah, that's fair.
10, 15 grand in YouTube ad revenue. They most likely missed out on millions of dollars by stopping production on 25 videos. So,
yeah, a few 100,000.
Like, to really put that in perspective, like monetizing this video, I think that if we're looking at this ethically and morally, they did a better job by canning production for a week. Like, why be mad about them monetizing this video? They're not monetizing for a week.
Yeah. So parts of this video where, and now a word from our sponsor. Just kidding. That's not going to be happening. Like, yeah, I don't know. They're trying.
Also, the lighting in this video is insane.
Yeah, I mean, their lighting
looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the whole
I just
team.
wonder when the fuck they made this video, because Linus put out his response on the forums. It was like, hey, we're not going to talk about this again. And then by 6 a.m., this video was out. So, like, when did they have time to make it look so good and put it out?
Yeah, you look silly. Like, and when I first saw that response of like, we're not talking about this, it's silly, I was like, first of all, as a content creator, I'm like, this is good content. This is when it was just the allegations of like tech channel versus tech channel. That's all I'm saying. This is not when there were other things involved, when you should definitely needed to be more serious. But when it's just guy A is making accusations about guy B, I'm a sucker. I love the drama. Like, I love watching and seeing like what people say and respond.
Yeah.
And especially in the tech community where there never is drama. I was like, this is really interesting. Let's see what happens. And for him to be like, I'm just doing a forum post, this is so below me to say. But then we know you were making jokes about them and shading them. Like, I get why they were mad.
I'm conflicted though, because like what Linus did is sort of the default. Like, it's what all of us are told to do by our peers. It's like our first instinct, be defensive. I mean, you even said earlier, like, we cannot count how many times people have accused us of something or shit on our content or shit on our process of doing things, and you just sort of have to just shrug and, whatever. And I think that in 99% of cases, the way Linus responded is how all of us would probably respond. Just sort of, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. This too will pass. And this is just one of those instances where that was the incorrect option.
Yeah.
The incorrect option.
Yeah. And when I saw how much content they were really putting out, and there's a balance. And at the end of the day, you are working with humans, and you can't push people that hard all the time.
So people have been discussing or floating the idea that this is so bad that it really hurts Linus. What do you have a prediction? What does your gut say? How do they come out of this?
I mean,
does it get worse?
I think this is a massive dub for Gamers Nexus. They struck at the right time. People are going to be going there a lot.
I feel
that dude went from like good respect to insane respect, and Linus went from insane respect to not.
And that rarely happens. Like the way that Steve did it wasn't malicious. It wasn't even disrespectful. Like,
oh no, it was just
if anyone's going to call anybody out ever, it should be done that way. Like that was just. I'm sure, like I said, we all want views. Like I hate people that are like, "Oh, you're just trying to get views." Well, no fucking shit. That's the whole point of this game. That's
you got us.
Yeah. Congratulations, you discovered the secret.
Yeah.
But his intentions felt pretty genuine in that video. First of all, it's 45 minutes. They did a crazy amount of research. They had so much data. They weren't just talking nonsense for 45 minutes. Yeah. And it seemed like it was more of a public, what would you call that? Like a public service. Like he was trying to inform people about misinformation coming from one of the largest tech channels and one of the gateway tech channels also, between like regular consumers and then nerds. So I absolutely agree. His video was great. By itself, I think that this situation, I think it's fixable, and Linus addresses all the issues with labs and how they go about testing. It's the other stuff that's a bit worrying. Like it's the real life like harassment and misconduct on top of the like, you know, the misinformation that really sets us up pretty bad.
They had the receipts. I mean, they brought up other things that actually I think about, where they were saying like Asus was a title sponsor of LTX, and then Asus had some issues with some hardware, and apparently LTT went a bit light on the Asus situation. And, frankly, it, I don't know how to say this.
Might as well just say it.
I mean, I've said it before, but like obviously, and you know what? I think some people have said it publicly. So I'll just word it like this: when you get Apple products early, for some people, you have to toe a line.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's a direct quote from someone that has said things before. So I don't think I'm saying anything that hasn't.
I think that is a direct quote from someone who has said things before.
No,
wow.
I know.
That was beautiful.
But, all right, let's just move on to the next controversy. Sorry, this has just been
you didn't answer my question though. Do you
what
see
happens?
a path forward? When they come back, do you see does this really hurt Linus long term, or is it kind of like other internet stuff that is here today, gone tomorrow, and we move on?
No, for Linus, it hurts him long term. Because Linus had the reputation of cultivating a community of, and I'm saying this kindly, but know-it-alls. That's kind of the LTT audience broadly. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying 100%. I know, just saying broadly. It's kind of the
maybe
CS
not call them know-it-alls.
gamer.
Maybe they're just know-a-lots.
Sure, that's the better way to put it. Know-a-lots.
Yeah.
So when Linus constantly says things judge a company by what they actually do and how they respond to criticism, and then that's how you respond to criticism, that's not, you've said that time and time and time and time again. So then when you are the one in the spotlight and you react that way, you need to be more self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that this is going to be a major stain for a while. And I think it's going to hurt their business. And I think it shows the pitfalls of having a creator lead your business, because we're all human at the end of the day. And what do you think?
I think the bigger anchor here that's going to weigh them down is going to be Madison and potentially people that have similar stories to her, because That is not okay. And even if it is, let's assume it's isolated. Let's assume it's just her. It's not every woman that works there. That's still really shitty and shouldn't have happened there. And I see that being even more detrimental than the Gamers Nexus stuff longer term. So much so that I think that because Taryn, the CEO, the newly appointed CEO, I think he told The Verge directly that they're doing a third-party investigation into, the Madison stuff. And I see that whether it's true or not, I can see them coming out of that investigation firing someone. Like I don't see them having a third-party investigation with no solution, with them to be like, oh, so the third party found nothing wrong. We didn't do anything wrong. So, okay, let's move on. I don't think the public will accept that. And I think that they are now in a corporate position, which is weird because they're YouTubers like us, but they built this corporation now to where they might have to do what other corporations do in a situation like this, which is just kind of sacrifice somebody. Like either the investigation finds somebody at fault and you get rid of them, and I think I know who it is, or you kind of just pull someone in and say, listen, it's got to be somebody, and it's going to be you. Just like, because I don't think just saying that we're doing an investigation is good enough. Like, her allegations, I'm going to assume that they're true.
Yeah.
I feel like that has to result in something. I don't think the public will let this move forward without something happening in that company as a response to that situation.
And I will say, the approach that they took to their apology video, I think they thought was really smart. But I think it ends up sounding like, look, we're better now. Keep watching. Keep the views coming.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's especially
it's
especially awkward when you consider that this is their second response. Like if that was what they posted at first, I think it carries a little bit more weight. But the fact that Linus came out swinging on the LTT forums was like, we're not going to talk about this again, and then had to make the video out of pressure makes it mean a lot less.
And, they sit down with everybody from every section, like, these are the things that we're changing. But it was so fast and they're so to the point that it's like,
did you guys even think this through?
Exactly. You're clearly doing this.
Like literally hours ago, Linus was saying, we're never going to talk about this again.
And then it was like, these are the company-wide changes that will further make us good again. And
I think that was a Taryn thing, by the way. Taryn clearly understands the severity of the situation and wanted to get in front of it. But the issue is Linus is stepping on everyone's own toes because he's emotional. And I love Linus, but he is very. And I have a similar issue. Like I have had phases and bouts online where I will just argue emotionally with everyone on Twitter for no reason. Like it doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve anybody. I'm just wasting my time, and it's purely because I am emotional, and on that days I shouldn't have the platform that I have. Like I should know to let it to just not get on the apps, to not look. But I'm human like everyone else, and someone should have stopped Linus, especially with that many people around him, from posting that response. That was not good.
The best advice I can give anyone that's ever like gone through anything, and like my stuff has always been like really small and really, never anything like, I don't want to say not serious because I take everything seriously, but nothing I guess that hit the mainstream or that like really blew up. But even small stuff, I've done two things. One, I haven't responded right away, and two, I've sat on it for at least 2 to 3 days. And I felt like shit for 2 to 3 days. But privately and not in front of everybody. I feel like you have to go through that because initially you're very emotional. And my initial response to unknowns I wish you could have seen the draft. It was very snarky, and it was just giving him a taste of his own medicine. And I said to myself, because actually the flight got delayed, and I had an extra 30 minutes because one of the panels on our plane was open on takeoff. They go, bro, this is real. They go, hey everybody, just want to get. Yeah, they go, hey everybody, just if you're wondering why we haven't moved, another aircraft spotted one of our panel doors open. We're gonna have to redock, and we'll let you know what happens from there. Yeah, just a small mechanical door open that another plane saw, and I was like, yo,
they didn't even catch it. Another plane saw it.
That's what I'm like. I'm like, bro was just driving down the runway out his window, and he's like, oh shit, there's a door open on that plane.
Dude, you would have been actually dead probably.
I saw somebody a couple rows in front of me. I don't know if this is true because I just heard him say it. He was like, I texted a friend of mine who knows about this, and he said it was probably a door that would lead to the cabin being depressurized. And John, of course, after we hear about this mechanical problem that they fix, it is the worst turbulence on takeoff I've ever experienced in my life, dude. It's to the point where it's silent on that plane, but everybody's kind of looking around because it was like where your stomach is dropping every 3 seconds on takeoff. Yeah. And I was like, this is it. They didn't actually fix it. There was something else that was wrong. And I was like, this is it. But at least I sent my tweet to unknowns before I took off.
Dude, how could they be so casual about something that could have been actually catastrophic?
I don't know.
Oopsies, please forgive us. I would never fly that airline again.
Well, they're through my loyalty program. It was United Airlines.
Bro, how are you going to be loyal to them? They weren't loyal to you. Another plane had to tell them.
I mean, you're right. Yeah, United Airlines.
Find out who fucking told them and start flying that.
It was like Spirit.
Yeah.
Spirit, the one thing they do is they're mechanical. You won't be alive in the plane, but you will be alive outside the plane.
Yeah. Well, Spirit would make sense because they're used to having to check every 5 minutes to make sure that thing is still held together.
I guess, dude, how long have we been talking? I feel like we've talked about a lot today, but I still have a lot to say because I put out a video this week.
And by the way, we're recording this the same day that it goes out for the first time in ever. So
yeah, sorry.
We're recording it like an hour or two before you see it.
Okay, last thing about the Linus situation.
Okay.
Is I have a prediction.
Okay. Give it to us,
that I think that there might be toxic culture at a lot of big YouTube channels that has yet to become unsurfaced.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there are... we are not doing that here, by the way.
No.
We're not, but there's a lot that okay, you know how like people with a 9-to-5 job that are the corporate structure of things, there are rumblings that you hear. There are discussions that you have with coworkers. We also have discussions with coworkers. We all sort of have our own businesses and everything is separate, but we are all in the same industry and we all talk.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that I mean, there's stuff that we all have shit, dude. We all have shit. There's stuff about me that's bad. There's stuff about everyone. It's just like you will soon realize that everyone is human, but there are some cultures with channels that you are familiar with that are quite toxic, and I think you're right. I think that this stuff coming out is probably not great for other people.
Yeah, I think it's sort of opened the floodgates for other tech YouTubers that
and it
are
could get
some
nasty
of our favorites.
Because in this industry, there's no like, hey, just post it on Facebook so people are aware. It's like, going back full circle, having the information is not enough. And the people that know information about behind the scenes stuff that could talk about that information are also in this space and understand entertainment and growth and will creatively use that information. Yeah. And so I see a lot of fireworks in the future.
Basically, everybody that you work with is a human. and try your best to treat them as so instead of numbers or your own financial gain. Because that's like, if I'm just thinking about the situations that I'm aware of from other YouTubers, it's just that. It's just that humans have human needs and they're often ignored in place of the product or content. And
we are all fucking flawed.
Yeah.
I heard a quote the other day that I think will stick with me forever. So I'll hear quotes, and maybe it's not meant to be quotes. It resonated with me, and I'll write them in my notes. This one resonated with me so much that I didn't even feel the need to write it down. It's don't attribute to malice what could be attributed to incompetence. So don't assume that someone is coming from don't assume that someone is just being malicious or that their intentions are bad. They are just human and flawed and are making a mistake most of the time. It's most of the time it is a mindless mistake and is not meant to be malicious. Like the Linus thing, the first one, the Gamers Nexus stuff. Yeah. Them being inaccurate with numbers. Them missing that and posting it and shrugging it off isn't coming from a place of malice. It's coming from they are in such a routine and such a flow that production cannot slow down because, like I said, the information is not enough. And they understand this business. They understand entertainment. And entertainment is always the number one priority. And because of that, and because they're producing so much so fast, so many other things fall to the wayside. And because they're stuck in a pattern and they're stuck in that rhythm, they lose sight of how important that information it is, and they find ways to justify it and excuse it when in reality, maybe it's not so excusable. And it takes someone to bring that to their attention to be like, hey, actually, this is a problem, for them to be able to step back because now they're not making all those videos this week and they can be like, oh, shit. Like, just rebalance for a second. I don't think that I don't think it was malicious. It's not coming from a place of malice. It's coming from a place of incompetence. And now that they're made aware of it, I think that part will be better. Those problems can be addressed and fixed within their structure. The problems that can't be fixed is the treatment of other employees. That can't be fixed without the removal of whoever did that to Madison. Whoever talked to her like that. Hopefully it was just one person. Hopefully it wasn't just the bro culture and everyone around her. Oh. Because that's much worse. In which case, if that's my company and all like the majority of the guys acted like that and treated her like that, I would get rid of all of them. That'd be horrible for the business.
Oh, yeah.
But
no, it's not acceptable.
Yeah, they're all gone. So hopefully it's just one.
Let's talk about the iPhone 14 battery situation again. I didn't really realize how big it was going to get online after I shared that thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like it went from being just like me feeling a certain way. Oh, this is the sponsorship. Hold on. It went from me feeling a certain way to like Verge, Forbes, Creative Block, everybody basically. India Times.
God damn, that video looks good. Holy fuck. I'm pretty sure I texted you after I saw that. I was like, where did you film this?
That was at Sarah Dietschy's house. I was in LA last week.
Bro. But it looks like your room. That's what's so confusing. Like the door is in the same exact spot. I thought you just put shit in your room.
Oh shit! I didn't.
You could build that yourself. Like actually. Yeah.
Essentially, this situation is not great, and Apple needs to do something. I didn't say this overtly in my video, but after traveling with this phone and barely using it and being on low power mode from 100% to 0.
You did it too? I have to do that with this phone too. When I travel, low power mode and the MagSafe battery pack.
No. And it still died.
Come on, man.
I don't know what to say.
So I have a question, Sam.
Yeah.
Because this didn't click with me until after we talked about it on the podcast last week.
Yeah. This is less than a year-old phone.
I have noticed that a lot of people complaining about the battery are also on the beta.
Some people.
In which case, this is wildly overblown, and it's your fault. But hang on, I haven't finished.
Okay.
If the case is that everyone's battery capacity has diminished because they installed the beta, then you are the stupid one, and this is not an Apple iPhone problem. This is you installed a beta on your main device. So play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The difference is my battery capacity is at 88, 89%, 87. I can't remember. I showed it last week. No beta on my phone. Never.
Yes.
So
that's the thing. And just look, by the way, this took hours to edit just this part of the video. Just look. This is just 60 of 2,000 responses to my tweet.
Yeah.
There is 0% chance that every single one of these people would be owning the beta. I mean, look at this, bro. This is not an isolated incident. And what has Apple said? Absolutely not a word. The Verge has reached out. Wall Street Journal has reached out. So many people in the community have reported the exact same thing. Joanna Stern
no
from the
reason.
Wall Street Journal.
Just be completely quiet. The iPhone 14, like everyone's figuring this out right before the iPhone 15 comes out.
It is a bad time for them.
The lifespan of this phone is over. I don't think they're going to respond.
No. Here's the problem. Apple cannot respond right now.
Go on.
Because then going into the iPhone 15, it's going to be a battery joke, battery gate situation.
I mean, yeah, the second Apple responds amplifies this way, way more. It brings credibility to all of this, and so they don't want that.
If Apple is the good, honest company that I think they mostly are, I'm not saying they're perfect, but I think that they mostly are, I think that we will see a service program very quietly on a Friday a couple weeks after the 15 comes out. Okay. That is my theory.
I could see that.
If Apple does not reply at all, I will not forget this situation. I will continually bring it up because it is unacceptable that you... No, I'm serious. It is unacceptable that you spend $1,000 on a phone.
Okay, lamers Nexus.
And there's no way I am actually going to have to switch phones because of how bad the battery life has gotten. Like I have been on my phone for less than 30 minutes today and I've lost 13%.
Let's see where your boy's at.
That's not okay.
Oh no, I'm an idiot. I checked my battery percentage while it's been on the charger the whole episode, so it's at 100. Got him.
But okay, why is it on the charger at noon?
Because I know I won't make it through the day if I don't have it there.
So that is okay. That is there is some, and I said my theory is maybe the batteries run hot or the thermals or something, but something is wrong, and
This is definitely the first iPhone in a few years where I know it requires a pit stop in the middle of the day.
And isn't that insane for their most expensive premium model that's made for pros? Mm-hmm. That's not okay. I am very lenient on Apple in some areas, but it has gotten to the point where I am actually going to switch to my regular 14 because I haven't used it as much and the battery is higher. And I'm actually going to take this to the Apple store and get a battery replacement. That is how bad it is. I have to pay $100. And the thing is, the through line for this video is like, I can afford it. It doesn't affect me, but other people can't afford $100 every year and a half for their iPhone in perpetuity. And I said this before, but I can't recommend this phone right now. And I know that Apple's in a treacherous situation. I know that for biz, they can't really say anything right now, but they should. And I will give them until a month after the iPhone 15 releases. But if they never say one word about the 14 series and just act like it was completely normal, that will be unacceptable, and that will be a stain that I will not forget. Because it's not right for people.
It makes me more worried about the 15 line because didn't they actually physically mess with battery tech this year?
So, yes. Apparently, the A16 chip is also less efficient than the A15, I've heard.
Okay.
Even though it's slightly more powerful, so that could have a negative effect on battery.
Mm-hmm.
It basically seems like they just... And do you remember when we first got the 14 Pros, we were like, the battery's fine. It's about the same as the 13.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's about the same as the 13 when the 13 ended, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Yeah.
I mean, are you frustrated by this? Because I am legitimately like yesterday, I'm like, I am an Apple YouTuber and I have to run my phone on low power mode just to make it home. This is, by the way, with my phone on airplane mode with no cellular or Wi-Fi radios on for more than 4 hours in a day on low power mode, and it didn't make it. That is actually absurd.
Yeah. So I'm like frustrated to an extent, but I'm not upset. But that doesn't mean much. I'm not upset because of my position. Like, this is what we do for a living. And I know that next month I'm getting the new one, so like it doesn't matter much to me. You know, by the time I notice that my battery sucked ass, I'm about to get a new one. I'm upset for the market as a whole. Like, this is horseshit. But like there are things that alleviate this for me that shouldn't be required for me to feel better. Like, one of them is my watch. This thing is never going to die. And so even if my phone dies, I feel confident, you know, I'm not going to like miss anything important. I can still call 911 if I have to. Plus iPads, MacBooks, Macs, you know, just like I'm surrounded by, I'm very lucky. So to me, in my life, this isn't a horrible issue. I work from home. I just fucking put my phone on the charger. I charge it up in the middle of the day and we're fine. But yeah, if I had a 9 to 5, if I was traveling, if I wasn't home, wasn't around a charger, and I had to actively go out of my way to remember to keep my phone alive, yeah, that is a big, big issue.
Yeah, and that's 99% of people.
Yeah.
Like 99% of people are leaving their home and they bought this phone and they want it to last 4+ years. Mm-hmm. You will have to get 2 to 3 battery replacements, an extra $300 on this phone. And if you're already spending $300 on an old phone, now you've invested $1,300 on a phone you're only going to get like $500 back for. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not conspiratorial. I don't think that Apple's doing this on purpose. I think that engineering probably put this together and they were like, this isn't the best, but we got to ship a phone.
Gotta go.
And this is the best we got.
They got 25 videos to put out this week. They got to hurry, you know? They got 100 million iPhones to ship.
That's why I need a response from Apple. And I will be honest, like, one of the many reasons I would love a relationship with Apple is because I love Apple products and I'd like to get access to them. But, you know, it would be great to, like, reach out to them and get a comment for a story like this instead.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Why? Just so you can steal it for Apple Track?
Exactly. Let me find this article. It was really cool to see this. The Verge is one of my favorite publications. And I listen to like their podcast every week, and I will be honest, it was
their
pretty crazy to see.
Their podcast is not as fun as ours, but you know.
No, it's fun. It was pretty crazy to see in the first paragraph of a Verge story, like my name and my publication.
Uh-huh.
And it was definitely very validating. Like they even put my TikTok in here, and yeah, it was just I don't know. It was pretty. It just felt good. I felt heard, and I was like, damn, I'm actually doing this for a reason. Like, people care about what I say, and I was like, thank you. I appreciate everyone. And specifically, this line at the bottom really resonated. We've contacted Apple about these reports, and we'll update if we receive any additional information. Like, Apple reaching out, being like, yo, this guy Sam.
You mean The Verge reaching out?
Yeah. The Verge reaching out and being like, yo, Joanna Stern and this guy Sam are having battery issues. Like, yeah, it meant a lot, and I felt heard, and I was like, oh, thank you. Like, now I know Apple's aware. The Verge has a very good working relationship with Apple, and I think they're actually one of the best for balancing fairness with also like getting stuff early, and I think they do a great job. But that's also because
Yeah, I
they
would
have
say
really
that.
strict ethics. They have really good ethics policies, and they don't accept.
I
Like
agree.
I think I've heard at like events they can't even drink like the free juices that companies give them. So like when Apple has breakfast for all the media people, I believe that Verge employees are not allowed to take any. Like
Interesting.
they can take water, I assume, because it's water, but like they can't drink juices, bagels, because that would be, it's going to make them in a better mood and, feel. I don't know. I respect Nilai's. I respect him as editor in chief. I think he does a good job of running that publication. So, anyway, this situation.
They are terrible at building PCs, but their ethics are pretty good.
Oh my god, that's one time. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you for covering it. I hope we hear back from Apple. It's gotten the coverage that I think is warranted. And I'm sorry if your battery sucks. Like, just know I'm right there with you every day. I find it unacceptable, and I would like Apple to. I need Apple to change this. I do not think it is fair to say nothing with the state that these phones are in. This is quicker degradation than we've ever seen on an iPhone. I've been doing this for 10 years. And for it to be the newest phone and one of their most expensive.
Yeah.
Listen, if this was the iPhone SE, I get it having a small battery that's going to degrade because it's 400. Like, it's the cheapest model. For this to be their highest end offering, doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
People are paying a rack for these phones. They need to last more than a year and a half. At
They're
minimum,
paying a rack.
2 years.
I would rather get rid of a gig of RAM, make my battery better. Like, if we got to make choices.
For sure. And
yeah, it's just like it's such a vital part that,
yes.
man, if it was RAM or something else that only we noticed,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But this is everybody that bought this iPhone can be confronted with this issue, and that's not good.
And it's looking like they will be. I mean, some people have had fine battery life, but it doesn't seem like that's the majority. And it's a lot of people. It's not just the journalists at The Verge. It's not just Joanna at the Wall Street Journal. It's not just me. Mm-hmm. It is ubiquitous across tech media, and from the replies, it seems relatively ubiquitous across Gen Pop of like people that bought these phones. So yeah, basically, I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to get Apple to do something. I want them to do something, and I will be taking full credit if they do something, just for the record.
I thought you were going to say I will be taking legal action. I was like, holy shit, Sam.
I mean,
you want to start a class action?
I don't want to say anything, but depending on what Apple's response is.
You would. Wow, you really want to ruin any even crumb of possibility that they will be your buddy?
At the end of the day, I want to do what's right. And I feel like that's the through line of this video. I want Unknown to be nice. I want Linus to be good. I'm trying to be a better person. I want to be a better person.
Well, I don't want to come from that either. I don't want to come from, we're the white knights and we're telling everyone else how to correct their actions.
I don't want it to be that.
We're pretty fucked up too.
But I know, but I'm just like, I feel like it's not that hard to do the right thing. I feel like we do better on average than we do bad.
The whole, yeah, I guess so. But the whole thing is like, we are bad and we fuck up, and we talk about when we are bad and when we fuck up, or at least try to acknowledge it. And I'm just trying to get other people to do that too. Like the Unknowns 21 thing, like I said, it's coming from a place of, hey, I was there. I was in the exact same spot, kind of acting the exact same way 3-4 years ago. And it's just not as cool as you think.
Yeah.
So.
And I like that about our show and our podcast. And I've heard that from other people. They like that it just feels like us being boys.
Yeah, I feel like we've grown the most from this show. Like from being able to talk it out and.
Yeah.
I mean, we covered some Apple news. I guess the battery thing is technically Apple news, but these are my favorite episodes when we just sit and just chat as boys. I think it also helps that we are actually boys in real life.
Yeah.
We're bros.
Also, can't end this video without a little rant. I now pay $150 a year for Bloomberg. By the way, if you want my login info, since we share the information, like just hit me up and I'll give you my account.
Wow, why do you do that?
Because I'm tired of making new trial accounts every 3 months. Aside from that, I have decided to support my brother, Mark Gurman. And guess what? The week after I sign up, he takes the week off. No power on.
No power on newsletter.
Mark, I'm paying $150 a year, really just for you. I don't care about the financial markets. Where's my power on, Mark? I was promised a weekly newsletter with exclusive details.
Hey, can we
I'm
charge
thirsty,
$150 a year for people to listen to this? This is more content than Mark gives us. So,
I mean, we could, but
put it behind a paywall.
People. No, I don't know if I've told you that, but I would never. The only thing I could do is like if we were like a Spotify exclusive, sure, but like I would never put it behind a. But Spotify, you can still listen to the podcast for free, so I would never put the show behind a paywall where for the main content you would have to pay extra. That just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, me either.
Bro, I just want people to have access to. And I don't know. I love podcasts. I love that they're free.
I wouldn't put this show behind a paywall, but I would make like a bonus, like after show.
Yeah, I'd be open to that at some point. You know, maybe one day.
But we give people the after show for free anyway, so.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't care if I'm making less money right now.
Well, like, this is a good example. We made $0 from this episode, so.
Yeah, we are yet again sponsorless. Woo!
Yay, but the drought is over. Next week, ads are back. Yay!
Ads are back, baby!
Yay! Thank you.
John, any parting shots? Anything else on your mind? Any controversies you've been involved in that we need to address?
Not yet.
Being too damn hot.
Peonies crossed. No controversies yet. Looking at our note to see if there's anything that we should talk about on the way out. I don't think so. I think we did pretty good.
Oh, I spent time in LA this week, I said, and that was fun.
Oh, yeah, you did do that. How was it?
It was really good. It was a little lonely at points because I don't know the most people out there. But
why you gotta make it sound so sad?
No, I'm not. I'm just being honest. Like, moving's hard. I don't know. I thought about it. I was like, I shouldn't say that because it sounds.
No, I felt that way when I moved here too.
I was like, no, that's actually how I feel. I need to be honest and vulnerable.
I mean, yeah, it's especially like so. That's like your home turf.
L.A.
No.
What?
St. Louis.
Oh yeah. I'm born and raised, so obviously
that's what I mean. Like when I moved here, like I'm sure my next move will be much easier. But moving here, when I spent my whole life in Ohio, grew up, like I'm talking the same place in Ohio. Like maybe I lived in 2-3 different towns, but they were
Lordstown, baby.
Yeah, Lordstown, Ohio. They were like, I lived in Newton. When I was a wee tot, grew up in Newton Falls, Ohio. Then moved to Lordstown. They're like 10 minutes away from each other. Yeah. So it's like, and so when you move far, far away, it's a lot.
Yeah, and I felt that way moving into my apartment now. Like one day on the pod, we'll have to go into detail of how it was.
Yeah, maybe.
But
it's like, when you're a little boy. When you're a little boy and you spend the night at your friend's house, and then when everyone falls asleep and it is time to spend the night at somebody else's house, you're uncomfortable. You're like, I kind of just wish my mom could come pick me up and take me back home so I could sleep in my own bed. It's like that, but now you're an adult and now you pay to spend the night at your friend's house every day.
Yeah.
And if you don't pay, they will kick you out of your friend's house.
Yeah. Then your friend comes and knocks on the door called the landlord. But yeah, I don't want to. I say that lonely was 10% of the time, and I know that that's going to be like I'm 10% lonely now in St. Louis in my apartment, and I know that just is a sign that I need to work harder and like reach out more and be more social. But the through line that I want to get at is that it was really fun and I really liked it, and I'm gonna say it. I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready, bro. I've been talking about it to move. Like,
oh, you were ready in July, remember?
Okay, but I was pseudo ready. But like actually having spent a week out there alone, I was like, you know what? This is a fresh start, and it was very inspiring. And just a few conversations I had with people in industry. It was just cool, man. It was just fun, and I feel like I learned new things already. And being able to like Dude, I just went for like a run or a hike every night, and the weather was
That sounds awesome.
fucking perfect.
Speaking of weather, have you looked at the forecast for the rest of the week?
No, dude, I'm actually pissed.
Every day here, every day is over 100. Every day is like 102, 103. Oh, so you got oh fuck yeah, I get 106 for you on Friday. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be
Let me look at the
right now it's 97. Cool.
Right now it's 101 here. Oh my god, dude. Look at mine for the week.
Bro, it says it feels like 106 right now.
Oh, it's 99.
Yeah,
it's 99 here right currently. It's the high today is 101, sorry. 101 today, 101 tomorrow, 100, 100, 100, 102. You have a crazy day of 106.
It's the Midwest, that's smoggy.
Who is St. Louis and why is he so hot?
Dude, I don't know, but I'm very excited to move. Yeah. What are your vibes? What are your vibes? Are you gonna do an LA trip soon? You gonna
an LA trip. Like before move?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, are you like actually ready? Because like I was like pseudo ready, but actually being out there, I was like, no, this is.
I'm never actually ready to do much of anything. I just do it, and then the readiness happens.
Like it was really good for me to be out there, and I thank Sarah for letting me stay at her place, and she's her and her husband are just the fucking goats, man. Like they are just the best. They really are. Like when you talk about like just good people, they're so kind, and yeah, I mean there's a reason we love Sarah, and she's been on like the most episodes, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was just really cool to be able to spend time there, and even when it was like, I don't know, and like the anxiety kicks in of like, is this really like my life now? It still felt right, man. Like I was still just like, this is where I'm supposed to be for some reason. I don't know why, but it was really cool.
Hey man, if that's where your asshole's taking you, just follow it. Follow the feeling you got. You know?
Yeah, that's where my testicles take me. Hey, did you reach out to the center for the swap?
About the testicle swap?
Yeah.
Not yet. I'm procrastinating, putting it off. It's a big call, Not quite sure how to approach it, so and I want to make sure my front panel is pristine.
This episode is sponsored by insert male grooming product sponsor that we've worked with in the past, who I think we're working with again soon. Anyway, I don't know. That's life. Overall, I had a good week. LA's fun. I'm very excited for us to be out there and to be doing the show in person every week in the next 6 months, hopefully.
I want to eat on the podcast. I want us to film it during lunchtime, and everyone eats lunch with us.
That would be fun.
It'd be a cool, we should make a tech morning show where we eat breakfast with people that are watching in the morning. That's the rule. You can't watch it later in the day. If you missed it that morning, you got to wait till the next morning to watch it, to catch up.
But then I would have to get up early. I don't do super well in the early.
Oh, I know. You and I woke up, like 11:30 today?
Yeah. Because, okay, to be fair, coming back from L.A., it's 2 hours different, so like
Dog, don't pretend like we don't normally sleep
You're
till
right.
11:30.
You're right. I don't know why. Thank you. I'm glad that you can call me out from BS.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Listen, there are perks to the job, and that's one of them. I don't want to wake up in the morning, so I don't gotta.
Do you want to talk about not wanting to wake up?
No, I want to wake up, just not in the morning.
Yeah, just anytime after 11.
Yeah, like if I can hear the birds, nah. Fuck off.
Too early. Oh, dude, I was watching her cat. This just reminded me. And Judy's
Wait, did
cool
I just
and
dox Judy? Are we not supposed to know her name?
Well, it's a him. Remember, it's
Judy.
A boy cat with Judy. I know I constantly misgender it. I'm sorry, Judy.
Yeah, it's not your fault. It's because she named it Judy.
And I will say I've never really spent time around cats ever, like long term.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
And they're little rascals sometimes.
They're all very different. They all have very different personalities.
Yeah, they are. Because
how was Judy?
The week started off real nice. Like, Judy was very respectful when he was hungry for food in the morning.
Mm-hmm. But eventually you weren't a stranger anymore. The novelty
at about
wore
9
off.
a.m., I'd wake up, I'd walk out the bedroom door. It was like either closed or like, cracked. He was just sitting there. And the second he saw you, he just went, meow. And I was like, oh, you want your tuna? I'm on my way to my bathroom, my morning pee before I go back to bed. Sure, I'll give you your tuna. And the second day, he got a little bit closer to the door. I heard him, with his little paw on it. And I was like, okay, let's get up. Then by day 6, I am sound asleep. So peaceful. So like a little baby swaddled. And I wake up with his face a quarter fucking inch away from my eye.
Good.
And John, I am sound asleep. And I just see a cat with 2 paws and a face going, and bro,
he wasn't being mean though, right?
I jump back and wave my arms. And then he's just like, what's the problem, man? I haven't been fed my tuna
You're
yet.
getting gaslit by a cat.
Dude. And then the second day, the last morning, he did it twice. He did it once at 6:10 because he liked to eat at 6 a.m. And then he did it another time. Another jump scare at 8.
Well, because it's working. You keep giving him food.
Almost gave out.
That's why.
And I was like, a dog would never. A dog cuddles up to you and it like licks your face.
A dog would never.
Dude.
Really?
No, a dog would like
Are
sensory
you an insane
lick.
person?
I have never had a dog do that to me. A cat just gets. It was on top of my head. And I'm like, bro, I can't. And then I open the back door and the house alarm goes off and there's sirens. And I'm like, dude, I'm not emotionally ready to have a pet. This is too much.
Well, that's why Django, he gets fed by the robots. He doesn't even know that I'm the one responsible for the food. He never bugs me about food or feeding time because as far as he knows, his food bowl, the robot, just spits food out at certain times, and the food bot is in charge, not me. He has no idea that I'm in charge.
Sarah's robot was broken.
So you're the robot.
There's not a wet food robot. Do you give Django wet food?
I do give
they
Django
go
wet
buck
food.
wild for that wet food. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I'll put out dry food all day. Oh, the wet food comes out. It's like, oh, wow, I'm really something special. No, you're just a cat. Okay. Let's keep it 100. You're just a little cat. Dogs will always be superior. We all know this.
Let's not say that.
Oh, for sure.
But no, let's
Listen,
not,
dude.
though. Django is a gentleman, all right? He wears a bow tie.
Dude, at the end of the day...
He cleans himself.
I gotta say it.
He keeps his environment clean.
What is the point of cats?
What do you mean, dude?
That cat didn't do anything all day.
Okay,
Django laid.
Django is pretty dog-like. Like I said, all cats have different personalities. Batcat, when I had her, I had her for like 8 years.
R.I.P. the homie.
Yeah, she was super chill. She didn't, you barely saw her. She was very independent. She didn't like a lot of interaction. She was just her own woman. Strong, powerful woman. She didn't cause a ruckus. She didn't destroy anything. She didn't claw. She would never use her claws. Never once. I think I got cut by her claw one time, and it was totally my fault. It was, she got hurt. I had to take her to the vet that day, and she was in pain, and she just didn't want me picking her up and fucking with her. So, yeah, I deserved it. Django is a lot of man. He's a big old boy. He's the size of a panther. And if he's not happy with the current situation, he will just make himself happy with it. If he wants to cuddle, oh, you're going to cuddle Django. If he wants pets, oh, you're going to pet him. He will put himself in your vicinity to ensure that pets are required. He will, if he wants to sit on top of me, he will do so. If I am on my MacBook, my MacBook is really nice and warm. If I'm on my MacBook and Django decides he's laying on the keyboard, I'm done with the MacBook. Django is going to lay there. So, yeah, he's kind of he's less of a pet and more of like a roommate. Like, I'm not in charge. I have to lock the door every time we do the podcast because he will just open it. He knows how to open all the doors. He doesn't know how to close them, but he knows how to open them, and he will just assert himself and do whatever the fuck he wants at any given time.
Didn't you say he like let himself outside before?
Oh yeah. My front door, there's like a deadbolt, and but I have a side door that goes on the side of the house that goes onto a patio, and I didn't deadbolt that all the time, and it opens like a lot of my other doors, and he just let himself outside. So now that door is, I don't even go outside that door, just so he doesn't even remember that it's a door. Because I literally have to trick him because I have very little control. He will just do whatever the hell he wants to do. Oh, if I'm in the fridge, if he thinks something's interesting in there, he will just go in and take it.
Cats just like, they freak me out. I don't like when the slit in their eyes, they look like snakes. And
I think
he was a very nice cat.
They're smart.
Like, we had a fun little time playing. You know, we would play with the toy almost every day, and it was cute when he would roll over and I'd pet his little belly.
He let you pet his belly?
Yeah.
That's a big deal. You should feel pretty good about yourself.
He would rub against me constantly. Like, he would constantly rub against my legs.
He was taking ownership of you. That's cute.
Yeah. It's like, according to Siri, it could mean as a sign of they like you too if they rub against you a lot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like an ownership thing. Like, hey, you're mine. We're buds now.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the cat was great. It's just in the morning, it was a bit jarring. I like a soft-spoken, hey, man, how's it going? And then I'm like, oh, I'm doing great, man. I don't like...
Well, was he supposed to? It'd be so funny if, like, he wasn't supposed to get wet food in the morning, and the reason that escalated so quickly was because you just gave it to him.
No, he definitely was. He gets tuna in the morning and tuna at night, and then dry food throughout the day, and then 5 treats at night. It's a whole thing. I got this whole system out. And then I had to clean out the litter box.
Judy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he was very cute and fun. I think I am allergic to cats, though.
Yeah, you were a little funky here with Jenga. You were a little sniffly.
Yeah, I think I just have a cat allergy, maybe.
I think that might go. I think it could go away. Like when we have an office cat, because we will, because I'll make it happen. I will make it so.
Please, you're not in the office.
I was like deathly allergic to cats too. Like I used to have to go get shots and stuff for as a kid for my allergies. But after having cats, I think I just developed my nose was like, okay, we'll just stop bothering you about this.
Yeah, I had to take like Flonase and Zyrtec. Oh, something else that I did. Sorry, I'm just dragging on this episode. I don't even know if this is the episode.
We're almost 2 hours.
This could just be us talking.
I mean, you might as well play the music and leave this for our post conversation.
Oh yeah. Okay, the episode's over. Okay.
Yeah, episode's over. We're definitely not going to keep talking.
Well, guys, that's all for this one.
It's definitely over. You can stop listening now.
You know us. After the music stops, no more talking.
And we're very strict about that. No budging.
Yeah. No budging. You know the other tech podcast that does this that's not canceled? Not Linus Tech Tips.
Yep. Definitely not Linus. Where's our little thing? Definitely not going to keep talking. See you guys next week.
See you guys. This is it. The last episode of the week. And the song goes on longer than you think when you're, about to end the episode.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta...
When you're absolutely planning on ending it and not talking anymore after, the song does go on for a while.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's going to be all. Yep, that was a good one. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the...
See ya.
Genius Bar Podcast. Okay, so I went to Universal.
Uh-huh.
Dude, that place is so fun.
Is it? Jealous?
Have you ever been? Do you like
Do I
theme parks or do you like theme parks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, it was so fun. Do you like Harry Potter or anything or Super Mario?
Super Mario, yes, but I have a confession. I have not seen a whole Harry Potter movie.
What? That's crazy. I'm not like a Potterhead,
books.
but I enjoy it.
Is that something that you just came up with, or do people actually call themselves Potterheads?
They call themselves Potterheads.
Oh, is it like a fun take on Pothead?
Not sure.
It's only cute if that's what they're referencing. Otherwise, it's just weird.
Okay. But it was really fun. We Dude, the Mario is so cool. Like when we're out there, we're doing a company sponsored trip to Universal for sure.
Can we just wear lav mics and record the podcast during our trip?
Dude, there's so much I want to do with this podcast that we just need like a space and like a small team for. Like I want to do vlogs. Think of how fun that would be. Like, oh.
Do our channels go away and it's just Genius Bar content?
Literally, my long-term plan is to H3ify us.
Oh, because he's just like podcast stuff now.
Yeah. Because remember they had all the channels and they used to do certain videos and now
when ads are good in podcasting, they're pretty good.
Yeah. And thank you guys for listening every week. I love you.
Thank you for listening. Yeah, this is just a labor of love because there's no ads in this episode. We're not going to make any money, but I really love doing Genius Bar.
Speaking of labor, I'm about to go into it if I don't get some lunch because I'm going out to dinner with my family in like 2 hours and I haven't eaten lunch and they're going to get mad at me if I don't eat. So,
yikes.
Should probably go.
Okay.
For the third time, I'm going to ask you anything else.
Make sure to turn. You might as well just turn your phone on low power mode now before you leave.
Yeah, for anybody with an iPhone 14, let us know how your battery health is. Wow, we covered a lot. All right.
Okay, I'm going to edit this right now so we can put it out.
Cool. Let me know. I love you, bro, and I will see you in the next episode.
Okay, I'm still going to be here when we stop the episode, just so you know, because it sounds like you're saying goodbye to me when you should be saying goodbye to them.
I'm saying goodbye to anybody present.
Goodbye. See you next week.